Hello and welcome to the Mansfield Town Shirts YouTube channel, where today we try and upset the entirety of League One. And to do that, we are going to rank every single set of away fans that we saw at the One Call Stadium in the league last season. Let's get straight into it. So then we join the tier list where we rank all of the away fans from last season in League One, so from 24-25. Now, I'm going to be a bit biased here, but I am putting Mansfield Town in a league of our own. Our away support is phenomenal. I've regularly seen other teams say that Mansfield were the best away fans they've had. Birmingham, for example, near the end, and we've had other clubs also say the same. So for now, and to keep us out of it, I'm putting us right at the top. Unashamedly so as well. Right then, so bottom of the pile in our little tin pot section, unfortunately, is Wigan Athletic. They brought 179 in the league game at the Stags. I know they'd been there already in the FA Cup in January, and when they came to us a little bit later on in the season, the novelty, I guess, had worn up of driving to Mansfield on a Tuesday night. But I can't remember the exact numbers, but I went to Wigan at the start of the season. It was over 1,000 we took comfortably to Wigan on a Tuesday night. And for them to take 179, bearing in mind they were in the Premier League when I was younger, that's really, really tin pot. So the next club in our ranking is Crawley Town. Now, I guess to be expected for a club of their size, but I think they brought 68 to Field Mill, to the One Call Stadium, when they unfortunately beat us in the second half of the season. And there's no getting away from 68 away fans. It's pretty diabolical for this level of football. And I know they don't get big attendances, but that's really poor. I do appreciate it was on a night game, but we took 555, I think it was, to Crawley on a Tuesday night as well earlier on in the season. So, there's no excuse for 68 supporters. The next team on our list then is Northampton. They only brought 530 something. I know it was a Friday night and I know it got moved, but we regularly sell out our away attendances there. It's down the road. It's an hour and a half away, whatever. And that's pretty tin pot. Right then, rounding out the bottom four is a team who only brought 200 towards the end of the season when they were well in with a chance of promotion, and that is Leyton Orient. Like I say, 200 is really poor. I mean, we were in horrific form when we went to their place and took over 500. To take only 200 or so when you are where they were in the league, they were really pushing for the playoffs. They may even have been in the playoffs at the time. And of course, as everyone else did in that second half of the season, they beat us. But yeah, 200 fans is not good enough for a team in their position. I just want to say another genuine thank you to everybody who has subscribed recently, or has liked any of the videos or commented on them. We've had a real surge in subscribers recently. We're up to almost around about 550. We had 200 a couple of weeks back. So really, really appreciate the support. And if you could support this video by dropping a like, that'd be really appreciated. And subscribe if you haven't already. So then, moving out of those bottom four, slightly less tin pot, but still not great, these clubs. And the one that we're looking at next is Peterborough. Now, admittedly, they were very quiet because they got hammered. We hadn't really hammered anybody in that second half of the season, but we managed to hammer Peterborough with 2 games to go, with the pressure off a little bit. But they didn't bring many fans, and it's not far. We sold out their home end. Admittedly, that was over Christmas, but for a Wednesday night or whatever it was a pretty poor attendance for a club of their size. It was not great. Now, the next club only brought 216 to the Stags, and they weren't particularly noisy, but they've not got in tin pot because it wasn't really expected of them, and that's Stevenage. We took considerably more, twice this season, to Stevenage. Once in the FA Cup that I went to, and then once in the league. We took a good amount to both of those games. So to only have 200 away, and I don't think they were very loud either from memory. So yeah, they're in the poor section. Another club in the poor section is a team who I expected better from, albeit they do get terrible home attendances. Despite them at the time being in the top 2, you could probably guess it's Wycombe. The fans weren't great, and there wasn't many of them. They were riding high in the league. Expected a little bit more of them. So disappointing on that. I think we took more on an evening game than they took on a Saturday. So yeah, disappointing from Wycombe. We've got a few average ones now, really, who I didn't particularly remember. They were okay. The numbers were average. And the first one of those being Bristol Rovers. 460, I think it was. So yeah, and I don't remember them. So they're in average. Alongside them in average as well is Shrewsbury and Cambridge. I don't really remember any of those. The numbers were decent, certainly better than the ones below them. But I don't remember them particularly much. We did beat them both. We lost to Bristol Rovers, but yeah, I don't remember them. So sorry if you're a Shrewsbury or Cambridge fan. You're in average. The next few had decent number, and that's Charlton and Burton. Charlton took more obviously than Burton, but Burton did well considering the size of the club. 800 and something came to Mansfield on the first day of the season. Were both reasonably loud, but yeah, just a bit. Didn't really get anything going. So yeah, sorry Charlton and Burton fans, you're in average. And congratulations to Charlton on promotion, by the way. Fantastic win at Wembley for them. But yeah, sorry, you're in average on this list. Right then, so we have two more in average, and these two teams probably would be slightly higher up, but their teams on the day were that terrible that they probably didn't have anything to shout about. Blackpool and Barnsley. So Blackpool played us at the start of the season and we beat them 2-0, and they never got anything going. It's probably one of the worst teams to come to the one call. They were really, really poor. And then they only got beat by Barnsley because they were also poor. We hadn't won since I think it was the first week in January. We played Barnsley in April, and it was our first win for a long, long, long time. So sorry to Barnsley fans, you probably would have been louder. You were great at home, but yeah, the away fans weren't that good despite being a lot of them. They weren't particularly loud. Right then, moving into decent, starting with a club who always have decent support, and that is Stockport County. They were a bit of a thrilling 1-1 we played out at the one call at the start of the season. And I thought they were in very good voice, and they had a decent number as well. The next two were good for different reasons. Rotherham brought obviously a lot because they are down the road. It's very close to Mansfield. They had a good away following. I don't know if it was sold out, but it must have been close to. And another club who came close to selling out as well were Bolton. I thought their fans were decent. Yeah, they always have good numbers, especially Rotherham close to Mansfield, and like I say, Bolton being the size of the club they are. They were reasonably loud, but obviously Mansfield won both of those games. So, but yeah, the fans were decent. So the next one, Wrexham, they were decent. They really were. There was a lot of them, and they always beat us, Wrexham, unfortunately. Certainly recently, anyway. So they probably come expecting to win. It got moved to a Sunday as well, which was strange, but they beat us by the odd goal. And their fans were pretty good, to be fair to Wrexham. They are pretty loud. The home fans as well were decent. They usually are. So, yeah, they were very good. Not quite top tier, but yeah, they were decent. These next two teams came very close to being in top tier. One of them being Lincoln City, who have fantastic support, especially at home. One of the best home fans I've seen, not necessarily this season, but in previous seasons, going back to games where Mansfield have played at Sincil Bank. It's yeah, they're always good away fans. A lot of them, it is down the road, but there's a lot of them. It was an evening game where they battered us 3-0, unfortunately. And they were good, as were Huddersfield. So Huddersfield, I think, was a sellout, and they were loud. They had really good support. Not quite top tier for me, thinking back this season, but yeah, they were very good and travelling large numbers as well. So then we are down to the top three. In third place, we have a team that absolutely battered us off the park 5-1, and that was Reading. I thought they were fantastic. They had a lot of fans. Big club, of course, but yeah, a lot of fans. They were in a really bad situation at the time. It seems to have all been resolved now, which is great. But yeah, at the time they were in a bit of dire straits, and their team just played us off the park, which wasn't difficult considering how bad we were playing at the time. But really good away support. And the next one is kind of a gimme, really, I guess. Birmingham. There was a lot of them, and they were loud. And I can only speak for that. We probably should have won the game, Mansfield. We had a chance near the end to make it 2-1. We drew, which was a result we were really proud of, considering the gulf in size between the clubs and gulf of spend. But yeah, their away fans were brilliant, I thought, and they were really loud. So you can't ask for any more than that. So yeah, they were top tier away support. So that only leaves us with one club who I think were the best supporters I've seen at Mansfield for a long time. Certainly the best this season. And that is a club who got beat on the day quite comfortably on the day, and that is Exeter City. Their fans were superb. They weren't the most in terms of number, but they were by far the loudest. They sang the most. They sang all game in a variety of different costumes. Now I know you say, oh, it was the last game of the season. Of course they were, they were in a party atmosphere, but they were superb, and an absolute credit to the club. And for that reason, they are the winner, the top tier away support that I've seen at Mansfield Town in League One this season. That's the end of the video then. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel. I am so sorry if I've upset you. If you support any of the other 23 teams that made up League One last season, I do apologise. Please subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. Subscribing means the world, as does the like and the comments that we see as well. We've really shot up in subscribers recently, so absolutely love to have more of you aboard. Thank you very much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.